The human opened his eyes slowly, his vision blurry. The first thing he saw was a ceiling made of glowing white panels. Smooth and curved like the inside of a spaceship, a faint hum filled the room, steady and calm. Like the heartbeat of a giant machine, he tried to move, but his body felt heavy. His arms lay at his side, covered by a thin sheet. His chest rose and fell with effort. Every breath reminded him of the accident. The explosion, the blinding light, the darkness that followed. Somehow he had survived. When his eyes adjusted, he noticed strange symbols floating in the air. They weren't written on the walls, but projected by invisible light. The symbols shifted and moved as if alive. He realized he was lying in a medical bay, but not a human one. The door hissed open, and footsteps echoed softly on the floor. A figure entered, tall and graceful. Her skin was a pale shade of blue, smooth and almost glowing under the sterile lights. Her hair was long, silver white, falling neatly behind her shoulders. She wore a white uniform with glowing seams that pulsed like veins of light. She was not human, but she was beautiful. She approached the bed, her steps calm and measured. Her large, luminous eyes studied him carefully. They had no pupils, only rings of soft light that shifted colors like a calm sea. She carried a thin device in her hand, glowing faintly. She did not speak right away, but her expression was calm, professional, and slightly curious. "You are awake," she said finally, her voice soft but clear. It had a strange accent, as if every word was carefully shaped. "Do not move. You are injured, but stable. I will examine you." The human swallowed, his throat dry. He tried to answer, but his voice cracked. "Where am I?" he whispered. The nurse tilted her head as if considering the question. "You are safe. You are aboard a recovery station, far from your ship. You were found drifting in the wreckage. We brought you here." Her words were simple, but heavy. His ship was gone, his crew. He did not know. A wave of silence passed through him. He closed his eyes briefly, but the steady hum of the machines reminded him he was still alive. The nurse raised her device and pointed it toward him. A soft beam of light washed over his body. It was not warm or cold, but he could feel it scanning every part of him. The device hummed quietly, then symbols and patterns floated above it. Shifting in the air, she studied them carefully, her face unreadable at first. Her movements were steady and calm, but then something changed. Her eyes widened slightly. She leaned closer to the glowing data. Her lips parted and her cheeks began to glow faintly, a soft red light spreading across her blue skin. The human noticed. He frowned. "What is it? What did you see?" The nurse quickly turned the device off. The floating symbols vanished. She blinked fast, her skin still glowing red. Her composure cracked for a moment before she forced herself to stand straight again. "It is nothing serious," she said. But her voice trembled. She avoided his eyes. Her glowing blush deepened. She pressed the device to her chest as if hiding it. The human tried to sit up, pain shooting through his ribs. "No, tell me," he demanded weakly. "What did you see in that scan?" The nurse stepped back, shaking her head. Her silver hair shifted with emotion. She looked conflicted. "I cannot explain here. Not in front of others. You must come with me later. When you are strong enough, I will perform a private examination." Her words echoed in the quiet room. The human blinked in confusion. A private examination. Why would she say that? Why was she blushing red like that? Before he could ask more, the door opened again. Another alien entered, shorter. Wearing the same uniform, he carried a tray of medical tools. The nurse quickly turned away from the human, her glow fading as she regained her calm expression. The new alien looked at her, then at the human. "How is he?" he asked in their language the human could not understand. But he recognized the tone. The nurse hesitated, then answered quickly. her voice flat and professional now. The other alien nodded and began arranging tools near the bed. The human watched quietly. His mind was racing. Something was wrong. Something the nurse had seen in his body had made her blush red, and she was hiding it when the other alien was busy. The nurse glanced back at him for a brief moment. Her glowing eyes met his. She did not speak, but her look said everything. It was not fear. It was not anger. It was something else, something strange. And the human realized one thing: whatever had happened in that scan, it was only the beginning. The room stayed quiet after the second alien left. The human lay back against the strange bed, his body aching, but his mind racing. He could not forget the way the nurse's cheeks glowed red when she scanned him. It was not normal, even in his weakened state. He could see she had lost control for a moment. The alien nurse stood near the door, her hands folded behind her back, trying to appear calm. Her glowing eyes shifted between him and the floor. She was trained, disciplined, but her body betrayed. The faint red blush still lingered on her skin. The human cleared his throat. "What was that?" He asked softly. "Why did you react like that? You looked embarrassed." The nurse froze, her lips pressed together. She did not answer at first. Instead, she walked back to the side of his bed, her steps slow, as if she was thinking with every movement. She leaned down slightly, her silver hair falling forward like a curtain, and whispered, "You must not ask this here. I cannot explain in front of others. It is dangerous." Her voice carried tension, as if the walls themselves were listening. She straightened again, her expression cold, but her cheeks betrayed her. Once more, glowing brighter when his eyes stayed on her, the human let out a weak laugh, though it hurt his ribs. "Dangerous? From a medical scan, what could be so dangerous that it makes you blush like that?" The nurse clenched her jaw, her hands tightened around the scanning device. She whispered again, but her voice was sharp this time. "Human, silence. If you speak louder, they will hear, and then you will not leave this station alive." The warning sent a chill down his spine. He swallowed his next question. His eyes searched hers, but she turned away, pretending to check the readings on a nearby panel. Her glowing blush, however, gave her away. Minutes passed in silence. Only the hum of machines filling the air. The human's breathing steadied, but his curiosity burned hotter. He had been in dangerous situations before: wars, wrecks, betrayals, but never had a nurse turn bright red after seeing his scan. Finally, she spoke again, her tone quieter now. "Your body. It is not what we expected. The readings do not make sense to us, but to my people, to my kind, such readings mean something very different." The human tilted his head slightly, his voice low. "Different how?" The nurse's eyes flickered toward the door, then back at him. Her voice trembled. "I cannot explain here. If I tell you, and they record it, they will report it to the authorities. And then—" She stopped, biting her lip. Her glowing blush deepened, as if her own thoughts embarrassed her. He raised an eyebrow, trying to hide his grin despite the pain in his body. "So it's that bad, huh? You look like you're about to faint from embarrassment." Her eyes widened, and for the first time, the calm, professional mask cracked completely. She glared at him, but not with hatred, with frustration. Her cheeks glowed so bright now, it looked like fire beneath her skin. She turned sharply away, muttering in her own language. The human chuckled softly. "You're blushing harder every time you look at me. I don't know what you saw, but it must be serious." She spun back toward him. Her glowing eyes locked on his. Her voice was sharp, almost desperate. "Enough, human. You do not understand what this means. My reaction, my body's response. It is forbidden. Do you hear me? Forbidden." The word hung heavy in the sterile room. Forbidden? The human smile faded. He could see the fear in her eyes now. It wasn't just embarrassment. It was something deeper. She was terrified, not of him, but of being discovered. He leaned his head back, his voice calm. Then why not just leave? Why stay here with me, if it puts you in danger? She froze again, her lips parted as if to answer. But no words came. She turned away once more, gripping the edge of the bed so tightly. Her knuckles turned pale. Finally, she whispered, "Because it is my duty, and because I cannot stop myself." The human blinked, surprised by her honesty. He studied her silently, and for the first time, he realized that whatever his scan had revealed was more than just a medical anomaly. It was personal, intimate, something tied to her very nature. The door suddenly hissed, opening again. Another alien stepped inside, this one taller, with sharper features and darker eyes. His uniform marked him as a higher-ranking memetic. His gaze swept over the nurse, then landed on the human status. He demanded, his voice deep and stern. The nurse straightened instantly, her glowing blush fading as she forced her expression back to cold professionalism. "Stable," she answered quickly. "No complications. The patient will recover." The superior medic narrowed his eyes, as if sensing something unusual. He stepped closer to the human, scanning him with a different device. The human stayed quiet, but his heart pounded. He glanced at the nurse, and for the briefest moment, her eyes flickered with worry. The scan finished, and the senior medic nodded slowly. "Continue observation," he ordered, then turned and left the room without another word. The door hissed shut again. Silence returned. The human looked back at the nurse. She was staring at the floor, her hands trembling slightly. Her blush returned, faint but undeniable. He whispered, "Whatever this is, it's not just medical, is it?" She looked up at him, her glowing eyes filled with conflict. She didn't answer, but her silence was louder than any words, and in that moment, the human knew the truth. Whatever had happened in that scan, it had changed everything between them. And it was only going to get stranger. The human lay awake long after the senior medic had left. His body was weak, but his mind refused to rest. The image of the alien nurse blushing red haunted him. It was not something small. He could feel it in the way she moved, the way her voice cracked when she spoke. She was hiding something important. The nurse stood silently near the corner of the room. Her glowing eyes shifted between him and the door, as if she feared someone might return. Every few moments she would glance at him, then quickly turn away. Her silver hair shimmered under the sterile light, and her pale blue skin carried the faint trace of that forbidden blush. Finally, when the hum of the machines seemed too loud, she whispered, "Human, when you are strong enough to walk, you must come with me. I will examine you again, but in private, no one else can see the results." The human raised an eyebrow, his voice weak but steady. "Why private? Why hide it? If it's medical, shouldn't the others know?" The nurse shook her head sharply. "No, you do not understand. If they see your readings, they will not treat you as a patient. They will treat you as something else, something dangerous or worse." Her words lingered in the air, heavy and uncertain. The human frowned. "And what about you? You saw it already. You reacted to it. Why haven't you reported it?" Her glowing eyes met his, full of conflict. "Because I should have reported it, but I could not. My body betrayed me. My people are trained to remain calm, but when I scanned you, I lost control. That is why I need privacy. If anyone else notices, they will question me, and they will question you." "That cannot happen." The human stared at her, curiosity burning brighter than fear. "So whatever you saw in me, it made you blush. It embarrassed you, didn't it?" Her cheeks glowed faintly again, and she quickly turned away. "It is not embarrassment. It is something my people do not discuss openly. It is forbidden. I cannot explain here." He smirked despite the pain in his ribs. "Then I'll wait for your private checkup." Maybe then you'll finally tell me the truth." The nurse's lips tightened. But she said nothing more. She turned to the glowing monitors, pretending to check his vitals, though her trembling hands betrayed her unease. Hours passed, and the human drifted in and out of shallow sleep. The medical bay remained quiet, except for the hum of machines. Eventually, the nurse returned to his side. She touched his arm lightly, waking him now. She whispered, "The others are gone. You can walk with my support. Come." The human groaned as he sat up, pain stabbing through his side. But her arm was steady and strong. Together, they moved slowly toward a smaller door at the far end of the bay. It hissed open with her access code, and they stepped into a narrow corridor lit by dim blue lights. The nurse guided him carefully, her hand firm against his arm. The corridor twisted deeper into the station until they reached a sealed chamber. The door slid open, and the human was led inside. The room was smaller than the main bay, circular in shape, with walls lined by strange devices. Some floated in the air, held by invisible energy. Others glowed faintly with symbols and lights. At the center was a single reclining chair surrounded by hovering scanners. The nurse locked the door behind them, sealing it tight. The sound of the lock echoed like a final barrier. She turned back to him, her cheeks faintly red again. "Sit," she said softly. "I will show you what I could not before." The human lowered himself onto the chair, breathing hard. The machines around him lit up instantly. Humming to life, the nurse approached with a thin scanner, her hands trembling slightly. She hesitated for a moment, then pointed it at him. Again, a beam of soft light swept over his body. And once more strange symbols floated in the air. But this time, she did not hide them. She stared at the readings, her glowing eyes wide, her cheeks flushed red as the pattern shifted. The human leaned forward slightly. "What do you see?" "Tell me," she bit her lip, her voice breaking. "Your biology. Your energy patterns. They are not like the others we have treated. For us, for my people. These readings mean intimacy." The word hung heavy between them. The human blinked, confused. "Intimacy, you mean?" Her cheeks glowed brighter, almost burning now. "Yes. The signal from your body is interpreted by my kind as a bond, a connection, something deeply personal. It is not supposed to happen in a medical scan, but your body. It triggers it." The human's mind spun. He tried to laugh, but the pain in his chest stopped him. "So you're saying my biology made you blush? Made you react like that?" She closed her eyes briefly, her voice trembling. "Yes, and if the others see this, they will know. They will not allow me to treat you again. They may even take you away. That is why I needed this private checkup, to hide it." The human's expression softened. He could see the fear in her. She wasn't just embarrassed. She was terrified of what her people might do. "So you're protecting me?" he whispered. She opened her eyes, meeting his gaze, her blush still glowing. "I should not. It is against everything I was taught, but I cannot stop myself. Human. You are dangerous to me." The human leaned back in the chair, the weight of her words sinking in. He had faced alien weapons, alien warships, alien hostility, but never this, never the idea that his very biology could break through an alien's discipline. And as he stared at the nurse, cheeks glowing red, hands trembling, eyes locked on him, he realized something. This was not just a medical mystery. It was the beginning of something far more dangerous and far more personal. Asterisk. The human sat silently in the glowing chair, his eyes fixed on the alien nurse. The air in the private chamber felt heavy, as if every word carried more weight than the walls themselves. The soft hum of the machines filled the silence, but her trembling voice still echoed in his ears. "Your body, your energy patterns. mean intimacy to us, she had said. The words replayed in his mind again and again. He studied her as she stood before him, cheeks glowing bright red, hands clasped tightly as if to hold herself together. Finally he spoke, his voice calm but steady. So, you're telling me that my biology, my human biology, made you react like that, not because of sickness or danger, but because your people think it means something else, something personal. The nurse lowered her gaze. Unable to hold his eyes, her voice came out soft, almost like a confession. Yes, to us, such signals are sacred. They are not meant to be seen in a medical chamber. They are meant only for chosen partners. The others discover what your scan showed. They will not see you as a patient. They will see you as a bondmate. The words sounded strange in his ears. He shifted uncomfortably, his body still weak but his mind sharp. A bondmate. You mean like marriage or something deeper? Her cheeks flushed brighter and she shook her head quickly. Deeper, for my kind, it means a complete connection. Physical, emotional, spiritual. It cannot be faked. It cannot be undone. The readings from your body say that my instincts see you as compatible to compatible. That is why I lost control. The human leaned back slowly, letting her words sink in. It was almost unbelievable. Here he was, a broken survivor of a wrecked ship, lying in an alien medical station, and somehow his biology had triggered one of the most personal signals of her entire species. He let out a shaky breath. So, you're saying? Your people would think we're bonded because of this. The nurse turned sharply, her glowing hair catching the sterile light. Not think they would know. The scan is absolute if they saw the readings. They would believe the bond has been chosen, and if that happens, you would not be free again. The weight of her words pressed down on him. Not free. He repeated. Her eyes softened, and she whispered, yes, you would be claimed, bound to me, or taken away to be studied. My people do not ignore such readings. They would not care what you want. To them, it would already be decided. The human stared at her, his heart beating faster. He could see the fear in her glowing eyes, but also something else, a quiet conflict. She was terrified of what might happen, but there was a part of her that did not want to let go either. He laughed bitterly, shaking his head. Of all the things I thought might kill me out here, I never expected a medical scan to get me trapped in some alien marriage. The nurse frowned, her cheeks still glowing red. You think this is amusing? It's not a game. Human, it could cost both of us everything. He sobered quickly, meeting her eyes. Then why are you helping me? Why not just hand me over? Let them see the scan and decide my fate. Her lips parted, but no words came. She turned away. Pacing across the small chamber, her steps were sharp, restless. Her silver hair swayed with every movement. Finally, she stopped, pressing her hand to the glowing panel on the wall, as if steadying herself. Because, she whispered, I don't want them to take you. I don't want them to use you. I want to protect you. The human blinked, caught off guard by her honesty. Protect me. Even though this could destroy your career, your life. She turned back to him, her eyes fierce despite the blush still glowing across her cheeks. Yes, I cannot explain why, but when I saw your readings, something inside me shifted. It felt like a truth I was not ready to face, but I cannot ignore. You are human, and yet, you affect me in ways no one else ever has. Her voice cracked at the last words. She looked away, ashamed of her own weakness. The human sat quietly, his mind racing. He had faced alien weapons, alien hunger, alien politics. But this was different. This was personal, intimate, dangerous in a way he had never imagined. He spoke softly. If what you say is true, then we can't let anyone else see the scan. We need to keep this between us. She nodded quickly, relief flickering across her face. Yes, but it will not be easy. The senior medic suspects already. If he demands the data, I will not be able to refuse him forever. We must find a way to hide it. The human exhaled slowly. So now we're co-conspirators, you and me. Her cheeks flushed again, and she lowered her gaze. Yes, but remember, human, this is not only about your survival. It is about mine too, if they discover what I felt. What I still feel. They will cast me out. The chamber grew quiet again. Her words hung heavy. But in her glowing blush and trembling hands, he saw more than fear. He saw truth. And in that moment, he realized the nurse's secret was not only about what the scan revealed, it was about her feelings, and a bond that even she could not deny. The secret was out, and nothing would ever be the same again. The private chamber grew quiet after her confession. The human leaned back in the glowing chair, his ribs aching, but his mind sharper than ever. The alien nurse stood near the wall, her silver hair catching the dim blue light, her cheeks still faintly glowing red. She looked fragile for the first time, as if the weight of her secret was pressing down harder than she could bear. The silence did not last long. A faint beep sounded from the door, followed by a low mechanical voice. The nurse stiffened instantly. Her glowing eyes darted toward the entrance. She hurried to the panel and checked the signal. Her face paled. The senior medic is requesting the scan records. She whispered urgently. They are suspicious. Already. I cannot delay much longer. The human pushed himself upright, ignoring the pain. Then we're out of time. If they see what you saw, it's over, isn't it? She nodded quickly, fear flashing across her features. Yes. They will demand to see you again, and if they witness my reaction, both of us are doomed. The human clenched his jaw. Then we need a plan. The nurse hesitated, her hands trembling as she tapped the glowing console. I can alter the records, but if they notice the tampering, I will be punished severely. The human gave a faint smile, despite the gravity of the moment. So you're risking your career, your life, just to protect me. Her blush returned, deeper this time. You are not only a patient to me now. I told you, my people would see you as a bondmate, whether I want it or not. My instincts have already chosen. The human studied her for a long moment, his voice softer. And what about you? Do you agree with your instincts? Her eyes widened. She opened her mouth to answer, but the console beeped again, louder this time. The senior medic's voice came through the speaker, cold and commanding. Nurse, provide the human scan. Data immediately. That is an order. Her entire body went rigid. She looked back at the human, fear and defiance battling in her glowing eyes. She whispered quickly, "Stay silent, I will protect you." She pressed her hand against the panel, transmitting altered data. Her heart pounded as she sent a false version of the scan, one that showed nothing unusual. Her fingers trembled as she completed the process. For a moment, silence followed. Then the senior medic's voice returned. Strange, his biology appears too ordinary. I expected more. Continue your monitoring, nurse, and do not conceal anything further. Do you understand? Yes, senior, she answered quickly, her voice steady, though her body shook. The signal cut, the door did not open. They were safe at least for now. The nurse turned back to the human, her shoulders heavy with tension. It worked, but only for a moment. He does not trust me. He will come himself soon. The human exhaled slowly. Then we need to be ready when he does. He won't stop until he gets answers. She nodded reluctantly. Yes. And if he forces another scan, I will not be able to hide my reaction. It is beyond my control. My body will betray me again. The human smirked faintly. So, I'm your biggest weakness, huh? Not a bad thing to be. Her cheeks glowed bright red again. "Do not joke about this, human. It is dangerous for both of us. More dangerous than you realize." But even as she said it, she could not look away from him. Her glowing eyes lingered on his face, her lips trembling as if she wanted to say more. Suddenly, the door hissed again. But this time, it was only a younger nurse entering with supplies. She looked between them curiously, sensing the tension. The senior nurse quickly composed herself, her blush fading as she masked her emotions. "Leave the items there," she ordered coldly. The younger nurse obeyed, but her suspicious gaze lingered on the human before she exited, when the door sealed. Again, the human whispered. Even she noticed something. "You can't keep this hidden forever." The nurse lowered her head, her voice breaking. "I know. Already, the walls are closing in. The others are watching me. They wonder why I defend you so strongly. Soon they will act." The human leaned forward, wincing at the pain. Then, "We don't wait. We take control of the situation before they do. If this bond thing is real, then maybe it can be our weapon, not just our secret." Her eyes widened. "Weapon? You do not understand. If they learn the truth, they will see you. As a threat, humans already confuse them. But this will terrify them." Or, the human countered, "it might give us leverage. Something they can't explain, something they can't control that makes them afraid. And fear can be useful." She stared at him, torn between fear and admiration. Her blush returned slowly, glowing against her pale blue skin. "You think like a soldier, always searching for advantage. But this is not a battlefield. This is my people's law, their beliefs, if we defy it. They will not forgive us." The human leaned back, a faint grin touching his lips, despite the danger. "Maybe. But humans have a history of defying laws and rewriting them. Maybe it's time your people learned that too." The nurse shook her head, but a spark of curiosity flickered in her glowing eyes for the first time. She allowed herself a small smile, though faint and nervous. "You are reckless, human," she whispered. "But perhaps that is why you survived when others did not." Their eyes met, a silent agreement forming between them. Tension filled the chamber, but beneath it was something deeper, something neither of them wanted to admit aloud. The danger outside the door was growing. The senior medic would return soon. The younger nurses were watching. Suspicion was spreading. But inside this chamber, in the glow of the machines and the warmth of her blush, the human and the nurse shared something no one else could see, and both of them knew the next move they made would decide everything. The medical bay was no longer calm. The silence that once filled the room had turned heavy, like the air before a storm. The human could feel it in every sound, the hurried footsteps outside, the hushed voices that cut off when he turned his head. Something was coming, and it would not be small. The nurse stood near his bed, her face pale beneath the faint red glow that still lingered on her cheeks. She moved restlessly, checking instruments that did not need checking, straightening objects that were already straight. Her glowing eyes kept flicking toward the door. Her instincts warned her before her mind admitted the truth. "They are coming," she whispered, her voice tight. "The senior medic does not trust me anymore. He will demand answers directly. And this time, I may not be able to protect you." The human forced himself to sit up straighter. Ignoring the pain stabbing through his chest, his voice was calm, steady. "Then we don't let him take control. If he confronts us, we face him together. You don't stand alone." Her glowing eyes locked on his, trembling with both fear and something else you do not understand. "Human. If he sees my reaction again, he notices even the smallest sign, he will expose us. He has authority to end my service. He has authority to send you to isolation or worse." The human's jaw tightened. "Let him try," he said quietly. "I've faced worse than this. And if what you told me is true, then my biology already scares your people. That means I'm not powerless here. I'm dangerous to them. And maybe that gives us leverage." Before she could answer, the door hissed open with a sharp sound. The senior medic entered, tall and stern, his dark eyes cold. Behind him, 2 guards followed, their armor sleek, weapons slung across their chests. The air grew heavier at once. The nurse stiffened, her hands curling into fists at her sides. "Senior," she greeted, her voice carefully neutral. The medic's gaze swept over her first, then landed on the human. His eyes narrowed. "You have delayed me long enough, nurse. I asked for his data, and what you gave me was ordinary, too ordinary. A human who survives an explosion and drifts alive among wreckage is never ordinary. I will see the truth myself." He stepped closer, holding a larger scanner, one designed to pierce through any false data. The guards remained by the door, silent but watchful. The nurse stepped forward quickly, blocking his path, her glowing eyes sharp. "Senior, with respect, the patient is weak. Another scan could endanger him." The medic's expression darkened. "Do not insult me. I know when a patient is fragile. And when a nurse is hiding something, step aside." The human watched the scene carefully. His heart pounded, but his voice was steady when he spoke. "If you're going to scan me, then do it in front of her. She stays. No one else touches me." The medic turned his gaze on him, cold and assessing. "You do not give orders here, human. You are alive because we allow it." The human gave a faint smile. "And yet, you're afraid of what I might be. That's why you're here yourself instead of sending another nurse." For a moment, silence filled the room. The medic's jaw tightened, but his eyes flickered briefly, betraying that the human's words had struck truth. The nurse stepped closer to the human's bed, her glowing skin trembling faintly with color. "Senior, if you insist on another scan, then allow me to perform it. It is my responsibility, not yours." The medic's eyes narrowed, suspicion sharpening. "Your responsibility or your attachment?" The nurse froze. Her blush flared across her cheeks. Glowing bright despite her effort to remain composed, the medic's lips curled faintly. "Yes, I see it now. Your body betrays you. Nurse, you are compromised." The human's voice cut sharply into the tension. "Enough. If you want answers, ask me directly. Stop using her as your shield." The medic turned back to him. "Then answer this, human. What did the nurse see in your scan that made her lose control? What secret do you carry in your blood that terrifies her so much?" The human leaned forward slightly, his ribs aching but his eyes unshaken. "Maybe the real question isn't what she saw, but why it scares you. You think you control everything in this station, but you don't. Not me, not her. And if you knew what my scan revealed, you'd realize it's already too late to stop it." The medic stiffened, his expression darkening. "You dared to threaten me?" The nurse suddenly stepped between them, her voice sharp and desperate. "Senior, enough. He is my patient, and I will not allow this interrogation. If you doubt me, then you may report me. But I will not let you harm him." The medic's eyes widened slightly at her defiance. The guards shifted uneasily, their hands brushing their weapons but awaiting no command for a long, tense moment. No one moved. Finally, the medic's lips curled into a cold smile. "Very well, nurse. Protect him. But understand this, you cannot protect him forever. And when the truth comes out, it will destroy you both." He turned sharply, gesturing to the guards. The door hissed open, and they left, their footsteps echoing down the corridor. The room fell silent again. The nurse trembled where she stood, her glowing blush fading slowly. Her hands shook as she turned back to the human. Her voice cracked. "Do you see now? It is only a matter of time before he exposes us. We cannot run and we cannot hide forever. The human leaned back against the bed, exhausted but resolute. Then we stop waiting for him to move first. We take control if he's coming for us. We make the first strike. Her glowing eyes widened. Fear and something deeper flickering within them, she whispered. A strike? Against my own people. The human held her gaze firmly. If they want to take our choices away, then yes, sometimes survival means fighting back. And I don't plan on being anyone's prisoner. The nurse swallowed hard, her heart pounding. She had never defied her people before, but standing there, with her cheeks still glowing and her instincts screaming, she realized she might be willing to risk everything for this human. And for the first time, she whispered the thought she had been afraid to say aloud. Then, we fight together. The medical bay was quiet after the confrontation, but the silence was no comfort. The human sat upright in the strange bed, his breath steady but heavy. He knew the senior medic's warning was real. They would not stop watching him. They would not stop watching her. The nurse stood near the door, her hands pressed tightly together. Her glowing cheeks had dimmed, but her trembling revealed her inner storm. She had defied her superior for the first time, and though it filled her with fear, it also filled her with something else: resolve. The human's voice broke the silence, calm but sharp. He will be back, and next time. He won't come with words, he'll come with force. We need to decide now. Are we waiting for him? Or are we leaving this place before it's too late? The nurse's glowing eyes lifted to meet his. Her voice was soft, almost uncertain. Leave. Do you understand what you are asking? This station is sealed, guarded, and controlled by strict law. No one escapes without permission. The human leaned forward, wincing at the pain in his ribs. I've escaped worse. I've fought through. Worse, you said it yourself. They see me as something dangerous. If that's true, then I can use it. They don't know how far I'll go. And that gives us an advantage. She shook her head quickly. You do not understand, human. If they discover the truth, they will not only chase you, they will chase me too. My people do not forgive betrayal. They will strip me of everything. They will brand me an exile. The human's expression softened. Then we don't let them. We move before they can. Together, her lips parted as if to protest, but no words came. Instead, she felt the weight of his gaze, steady, unshaken. In that moment, she realized he was not only asking her to protect him, he was asking her to choose him. The chamber lights flickered suddenly. An alarm pulsed faintly through the floor. The nurse stiffened, rushing to the panel on the wall. Her glowing eyes widened in fear. They are overriding the locks. They are coming now, the humans. Fists tightened. Then we act now. The door hissed sharply, but before it could fully open, the nurse slammed her hand onto the panel, sealing it with her own override. Sparks shot across the doorframe. The system groaned, struggling to obey two conflicting commands. She turned back to him, her cheeks glowing brightly again. Listen to me, human. Once I open the emergency passage, there will be no return. If we take it, we will be fugitives, hunted by my people forever. The human gave a faint grin, despite the pounding in his chest. Then it looks like I found myself a new adventure. Her heart raced. Her people had warned her since childhood never to let emotions override duty. But now, in this moment, she felt something stronger than duty pulling her forward. She pressed her hand deeper into the panel, and with a sharp hiss, a hidden section of the wall slid open, revealing a narrow escape corridor. Go, she urged, pulling him to his feet. His weight leaned against her. But together they stumbled through the hidden passage. The hum of the machines grew faint behind them, replaced by the echo of alarms and the sound of boots pounding on the floor outside the chamber. The corridor twisted downward, narrow and dark, lit only by faint blue lines. The human's voice came low. They'll find us soon. Where does this lead? The nurse's breath was unsteady. To the lower docks. Few know of this passage. If we are fast, we can reach an unused shuttle. But once we take it, there will be no hiding. They will know we fled. Then we make sure they can't catch us. Hush, he replied, determination burning in his voice. They reached the end of the corridor, another sealed door standing in their way. The nurse pressed her hand to the panel, her glowing skin activating the lock. The door slid open, revealing a small dock bay. Empty, quiet, but with one small vessel. Resting near the platform, the human's chest ached, but his steps quickened. That one, right? She nodded quickly. Yes, but hurry once we enter. They will detect its systems. Together, they stumbled toward the vessel, but before they could reach it, the main doors of the dock bay hissed open. The senior medic stood there, flanked by armed guards. His dark eyes burned with fury. "Nurse," he thundered, his voice echoing. "You dare betray your people for a human, for this creature." The nurse froze, her hands trembling, but the human pulled her forward. Standing between her and the medic, his voice was calm but sharp. "She didn't betray you. She chose, and that's something you'll never understand." The medic sneered. "Then you will both be destroyed." The guards raised their weapons. The nurse's heart pounded. She had no weapon, no shield, only the human at her side. Yet in that moment, something inside her shifted. Her blush flared brighter than ever. Spreading across her entire body, the medic's eyes widened, stunned for her people. Such a glow was unmistakable. It was the mark of a full bond, visible for all to see. "You bonded," he whispered in disbelief. "Impossible." The human grinned faintly. "Looks pretty real to me." The nurse tightened her grip on his arm, her voice clear and steady at last. "Yes, it is real. I chose him. My body chose him. My heart chose him. And if you try to take him, you will have to go through me for the first time." The guards hesitated. Their weapons wavered. For her people, to interfere with a bonded pair was forbidden. It was against their deepest law. The medic's face twisted in rage, but his hands trembled. He knew he could not break that law without losing his own authority. The human pulled the nurse closer, guiding her into the vessel. The doors sealed shut, and the engines hummed too. Life as the shuttle lifted from the dock. The nurse looked back through the window, her glowing eyes filled with both fear and relief. "They will never stop chasing us," she whispered. The human smiled, leaning back against the seat. "Let them chase. We'll make our own future, one they can't control." The shuttle shot into the stars, carrying them into the unknown. And in that moment, both human and alien nurse knew their lives had changed forever, bound together. By fate, by biology, by choice, they had become something new, something that even the galaxy would not be ready for.